Yeah, do me a favor. Turn me up. Yeah, turn me up, please. No matter where you at, turn me up. Turn me up. No matter where I'm at, I'm on your screen. I'm on your phone. I'm in your tablet. I'm in your car. Turn me up. Let them know we not little energies. We big energy. And we about to have a big energy conversation on this moon day. We know it's Monday, but we like calling them according to the planets that rule these days, because on this moon day, okay, the moon rules today. Okay, there's a lot of emotion flowing around today. This is a water element day because the moon is magnetic and it pulls on us, and it makes us more emotional because it pulls on the water that is inside of us. And if the water is synonymous with the emotions, then it's pulling on our emotions. So now we know why people are most emotional on these days. This is why we see high tides during those full moons, because the magnetism of the moon is at its peak. But we can also feel this same magnetism every Monday or moon day. So welcome, okay? Welcome to a Mindset Monday edition of Let's Get Rich, where we go into the mindsets, okay? We also have a segment called Speaking in Tongues, where we go into the words, we go into etymology, semantics, and ebonics, because we understand that we are speaking a cryptic language, okay, that is written in the essence of grimoire, okay, that deals with witchcraft, that deals with jinn, spirit, and energy, okay, causing you to operate in specific energies according to the conversations that you having with yourself. You picking up what I'm putting down? Because you having particular conversations with yourself, because this language surrounds grammar, which is grimoire and spelling. Okay, there's always a casting that is going on, and we understand what casting is, right? You know how you can cast your YouTube video onto your screen? We understand what is casting, right? We are projecting a reality onto the outside by casting something on the inside. You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, so on these moon days, we like to come down to the mindset, because we having these spiritual and community-oriented conversations so we can enrich the minds, bodies, and spirits of our households, of our neighborhoods, of our communities, starting with ourselves. We're not blaming nobody. We're not asking for the higher powers to come down to intervene. We're not asking for our government agencies to come help us. No, we finna help us do for ourselves, okay, what we prepared to do for others, and then vice versa. Do for others what we have been doing for ourselves already. You picking that up? So yes, turn me up if you haven't already. Today we're going to go first into a few words, okay? We're going to go into the casting of situation. This is a few words. This is a vocab. Take out your pens, because there's some words that you've been using that you may have been using unto your demise. It's some words that you've been using that you may not be using the right way, or you may need to just be careful what you've been asking for. Yeah, a lot of us been using and abusing this friend word far too long, okay? And if you're a leader, creative, entrepreneur, somebody that is persistent about walking in a purpose, then you don't need no friends. In fact, let this video bear witness to you already knowing this. You already had this. You already knew this was coming, okay? You don't need any more friends. And you may not even need the friends that you think you have. If they can't evolve into something greater, then we don't need friends. If they can't evolve into family, we don't need friends. If they can't evolve into allies, we don't need friends. If they can't evolve into business partners, we don't need friends. Because what is my energy to you if we're not growing into something? So this friend word, let's talk about it, and how this energy has caused us to put down a lot of our good habits, a lot of the great things about our personality and about our character. Why? Because we don't want our friends to feel smaller than they really are. And maybe it really is that small. Anybody that can feel small by you operating your authentic self, they was already small. They should be looking at you for motivation and inspiration. Okay? This friend word. This friend word is what I like to also term another worship. Y'all heard of friendship, right? We heard of a lot of different ships, actually. Marriage ship, friendship. These are things we talk about here. Partnership, business ships. And then there's the worship. For some of us are still involved in the worst ship. And the worst ship is a sinking ship. Wouldn't you agree? The worst ship to be in is a sinking ship. How many of you are still involved in a sinking ship? A lot of those friendships are also a sinking ship. Can I get a witness? How many of us have bear witness to the fact that the relationships that we hold in, that have not grown into something else, is now a sinking ship? We need to get up out of this ship. Yeah, we need to do best for ourselves. We need to do better for our loved ones, and even the loved ones that you're going to conjoin yourself with. Like the loved ones or these so-called friends. Okay? Some of y'all got families that have merged. Yeah, a lot of these friends are the worship. Why is this? Let me go ahead and explain friendship and the nature of friendship. Friendship is somebody that wants to see you on the level you are. Any ship that you in has to be that type of balance. Any ship. Me and you in a ship, it has to be balanced. If it's like this and like that, then I mean this side is letting in the water. So every ship have to want to see you on the level that you are at. That may be okay if you don't want to grow. That may be okay if nothing more is expected from you by yourself. That may be okay on the outside, but on the inside, when I start evolving, when I start ascending, when I start graduating, when I start walking in purpose and asking for more from myself, demanding more from myself, then I don't need any energies around me that want to see me on the same level. Do I? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Turn me up if you haven't already. I speak very clearly. Go ahead and turn me up. Okay? So every ship, the nature of a ship, okay, is to operate in that type of balance. This is the nature of a ship, to operate in that type of balance. And that balance is bringing chaos. With the type of balance that you've been shown is really chaos. It's not balance. Okay, that which operates on the same level is not balance. Okay, if I go ahead and get $1 and I lose $1, is that balance or is that chaos? Is that poor economics? Is that poor accounting? Looks like chaos. It looks like the bills won't get paid, does it? But if I make 5 and possibly lose 1, there we go. What if I make 100,000 and possibly only lose 100? There we go. This right here is balance. This is chaos. So anytime you're in a ship, understand that it's operating for you to be in the same level. For you to be at the same level as the person that you're in the ship with. There is no growth. Be careful of who you calling friends. Be careful of who the people you allow to call you friends, because they may be trying to say they don't want to see you grow. You feel the envy. You feel the jealousy. Okay. You feel some type of friction as you began to evolve from that which you came from. I don't care if they was even your family members. Okay. If there was some type of ship there, some friendships there, okay, then there is some type of stagnation in your growth. The other party don't want you to grow. Meaning that when you try to lift yourself up, what they come do? They come through on this level and try to balance you out, and they bringing you down. They try to tell you, no, get back down here with me. Friends want to see you on the level that you are at. And sometimes this is more prevalent and obvious when you hurt. When you hurt, there then comes a friending energy on the level that you are at, identifying with the pain. Y'all know the friends that you can go and trauma dump on? Y'all know the people you can go dump, or maybe you've been a person they have become dumping the trauma, gossiping and doing whatever the case may be. See what I mean? You was in a low level, okay? Or they were in a low level and they came and brung that low level to you. This is a friend. This is why if you a leader, creator, listen carefully. If you a leader, a creative, an entrepreneur, business individual, or somebody that is walking or aspiring towards their purpose, you don't need any more friends. You had enough of them. And how far have they gotten you? How far have your friends gotten you? This is why they say you can only count the real friends on your hand, because what you're really trying to say is the ones that were really your friends, they wasn't your friends. They was this other beautiful word. They got right out the ships. They got out the ship. They allowed you to go where you needed to go, and they gave you some things that you needed to get there. Okay? The person that is allowing you to go where you need to go and also giving you provisions. They are helping you pack provisions. Maybe you need food. They helped you meal prep. Maybe you need different attire. They thinking about different weathers. They done threw in the raincoat. They done threw in different things. Okay? They done do in different things. They done helped you pack provisions for your trip because they want you to get where you going. They don't need to go. They don't need to be first beneficiaries of your success. The friend wants to be first beneficiaries of your success. Y'all seen Selena? Y'all seen how our manager treated her? Yeah, the manager ended up unalive Selena. Nevertheless, your friends may want to be your first beneficiaries of your success. Seen what Don King did to Mike Tyson? You seen what Floyd Mayweather manager and ran off with? Your friends want to be your first beneficiaries of your success. And who should be your first beneficiaries of your success? Who? This ain't rocket science. You. You should be first beneficiaries. And then your offspring, your babies. And then that which you love, the person you love. Okay? Then your household, your neighborhood, your family, your community, that should grow. So the person next to you is not trying to be first, not even second or third beneficiary of your success. Maybe they never become the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth beneficiaries of your success. Why is this? Because they are already benefacting from your success. How is this? By already seeing another successful person, by seeing a good person, okay, get where they need to be. The person that is invested, okay, into you getting where you need to be, to the point they may even provide some provisions and ask nothing in return, that is not a friend, is it? By definition, that ain't a friend. This person is something different. They done put on the cloak of the jacket and the blazer of investor, okay? And these people are your allies, okay? And to be an ally, okay, means a person have to be aligned with the vision that you have for yourself. Okay, aligned with the vision that you have for you. The ally is aligned. They the same word minus the N and that silent G. The ally and the aligned is the same frequency. Those that are aligned with you is not trying to be first benefactor of your success. You win, they win type of energy. No, you just win. I win because you won already. I win just because you are indeed already a success. I win by seeing my vision come into fruition. See, my vision was also your vision, and we are aligned. The vision you had for yourself was also the vision I had for you. I'm aligned with that. So by you walking into being that success, becoming that which we already imagined, I already won. I don't need to receive the loan back that I done gave you. You know them allies that give you something and they ain't asked for a return. How many people done had some good allies? I know I did. I know I done had some good allies in my future, in my past. Look at me speaking things into existence. I know I done had a lot of good allies. I remember when I first started my business, I was mentoring. Some young men that was in about 16, 17. And I remember going to some financial deficit, telling my mentees, I say, well, listen, teacher ain't gonna be able to teach you today. Not today. I'm gonna get back to you. I remember one of my mentees was tired of me telling them not today. And they came to my home. Said, teacher, is there anything you going through? Anything that I can help you with? And of course I didn't tell them, but through a series of words, because I'm talking. They know me. I'm talking, sharing some wisdom, and I also had missed them. They end up reading between the lines. Sometimes your allies can read between the lines. You don't need to tell them everything. They see you differently. A better vision. They have an in vision of you. Not like the friend that just want to see you on a level that they always seen you as. Okay? you Ramon from around the corner. They don't never want you to evolve more than Ramon. Okay? You could have then changed your name. They still calling you Ramon. You could have been Ramon. That was your rap name. Your real name was Robert. They still calling you Ramon. Okay? So nevertheless, the ally seen me. Allah said, well, listen, teacher, listen, I know you ain't say this, but I got a few grand to help you out if this may, if maybe I could just pay in advance, the things that I'm paying you, or maybe I could just get. I said, well, listen, hold on now, you my mentor. I mean, you my mentee. I don't want your funds. I'm teaching you how to be better with accounting and doing the best with your funds. You know what he looked at me and said? This was a beautiful person. He said two things. One was, I'm saving my money for times like this. Two, I have nothing better else to do with my funds than what my heart desires. He said, I ain't got no bills. I live with my mama. I'm not leaving no time soon. This is my family house. We own this house. I'm not going nowhere. I do nothing. He's not material at all. I do nothing with my money besides vacate, love, and make sure me and my mama cool. Okay? He said, so listen, regardless if you say yes or no, I'm going to bring you what I want to bring you, regardless. I said, goodness, I done taught him good. This is my mentee. I said, I done taught you. I done taught you good. So that's what I mean. Not only did the person give me this investment, okay, advance, I'm going to first call it. Give me this advance, okay? It came down to me paying this person back, giving them this advance back. I said, listen, seasons have changed. Hey, what goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. I said, teachers, in a better position. He said, I didn't give you what I gave you to receive it back. He said, I gave you what I gave you to become the man that I see, that I'm invested in. I said, goodness. I mean, that boy was wise. Wise. So I just want you to understand, your investor doesn't have to be immediate benefactor of your success. And most often, they will invest without expecting a return. You are the return. You becoming, okay, exactly what both of you have envisioned for yourself is what they invested in. That's an ally. That is not a friend. Two different energies. Friend want to see you on this level. The allies see you all the way up there, and they investing into you becoming that individual. Is that clear? You got any questions, comments, or concerns on those two words and how it may relate to you and where you are now? You go ahead and ask them in the comments on YouTube. Okay? If you may notice your friend group changing, if you may notice the people that you associate yourself with, they changing, that's because you changing. And you asking for more from people. This is important. Especially as the conversation goes into community. Especially as the conversation goes into the importance of community. See, community is going to involve those investors and allies. Remember when you was growing up and you had people looking out for you? They wasn't immediate benefactors of your success and of you being a good person. No, these was ally energies. Some of this we are missing from certain circles and communities. Okay? And that's why we bringing up these words, because community is the conversation. It's going to stay the conversation. Okay? As we spiritually advance, community is going to stay the conversation because that's the wealth. And until we come to the conclusion that we can have conversations that surround community, that are at the basis of group economics, okay, and not anything that relates to your doctrinal beliefs, that has a lot to do with your spiritual traditions, that has nothing to do with your sexual preferences. When we're talking about community, There should never be a conversation on your sexual preferences. There should never be a conversation on your spiritual tradition. Both of those two things are irrelevant. Community is a spiritual conversation. Okay? And a lot of times, your traditions, even if they are spiritual, they coming from your belief system. That's a mental conversation. And a lot of times, the mind get in the way of us having a spiritual conversation. The ego start playing. Something has to be right or wrong. Something has to be God or the devil. When in all actuality, there is a real conversation, a legitimate conversation that needs to take place. Okay? One that has nothing to do with the mind, one that has nothing to do with the body, because I want to let you know something. Okay? You can teach the mind and the body anything. Matter of fact, these two elements will grow the fastest. Okay? Anytime anybody have learned anything from me through any of my videos, you watch 9 videos, I'm going to change your life. You watch 3 of my videos, I'm going to change your mind. You watch 6 of them, I'm going to change your circumstance. 9 of them are finna change your life. That's because I know how easy it is to teach the mind. I know how easy it is to teach your body new habits. Okay? New habits. The brain is malleable. Okay? We're sponges. But nevertheless, no matter what the mind may know, okay? No matter what the brain may know, because there's a difference between mind and brain. The mind is spiritual. The brain is physical. No matter what the brain may know, retain, remember, accumulate, record, okay? It doesn't make you a greater spirit. It doesn't make you a mature spirit. You can have all the degrees all you want. You can have all the masters and PhDs all you want, but still hold the spirit of a piece of paper. Unevolved, unmatured. Doesn't matter what you have earned and accumulated physically in all your attainment on this earth. Still, you can have the spirit of a piece of paper. Okay? But it's only when that spirit has grown into abundance, has grown into walking in its purpose, has grown into something that the entire universe benefits off. See, the entire universe benefits off your spirit. Only you benefit off of your brain. Only you benefit off your body and those that's closest to you. But all sentient energies and non-sentient energies benefit off your spirit. Okay? So this is why the growing of the spirit takes the most efforting. That's why we need to have community-oriented conversations. The growing of the spirit takes the most work. Okay? Especially when you dealing with masculine and feminine parties. The masculine operating too much in their mind and a lot with logic. Okay? Everything has to be mechanical. This is where a lot of these belief systems are coming from. This overthinking and underacting energy. Life ain't mechanical. First and foremost. Pluses and minuses don't always equal to something spiritual. They only equal to pluses and minuses. And there's no straight lines in nature, is it? So how can life be mechanical? So we need to get this person that is mentating far too much. Okay, these intellectualists. Okay, these mental tyrants calling themselves teachers. We need to get them off of the playing field. Knock their mind back into growing in spirit. Okay? And then a lot of our feminine mindsets, which is a large portion of the world, is thinking so surface level. It's thinking so physical. And when it comes down to surface level and physical, whenever you mention community, the first thing is people are thinking of what can they have and what can, right? What can they have and what can be taken away from them? They thinking of sexual preferences, relationship orientation. We are so far removed from the conversation that the conversation goes all the way into a root chakra conversation. We can't do this. How are we going to have a spiritual conversation if your mind is in a root, or if your mind is somewhere in la-la land in your brain? The mind isn't on the spirit. Okay? So, nevertheless, community is going to happen. It's going to erect naturally, like planting the right seeds. It's going to erect naturally when we become more clear on what we're asking for from ourselves and each other. This is why we went into the friend word, how it differs from ally. We need to do away with friends. It's not getting us nowhere. Okay? It's causing more harm, okay, than it is producing solutions. Friends hasn't offered any solutions, have they? Y'all go ahead and let me know. Okay? We need to step into allyhood. We need to step into this investment energy. Investment is family energy. We need to step back into family. We need to step back into community. We need to get out of these surface-based conversations that has only to do with sex, genders, and what somebody has to offer or take from you in this petty ideology of your life. Okay? It should be focused on purpose. You see, when you had the spiritual conversation is always going to surround purpose. And when you start having a purpose conversation, people want to back up out of those conversations. Then the views get slim. Then the comments get real small. Okay? So nevertheless, we're going into this community-oriented conversation. Y'all stay tuned for this next episode as I replenish myself and you receive messages from the universe, from our sponsors. Okay? And we're going to return after this commercial break. If you like the conversation about community, then you come back and on him and meet me here. Ashe? Nevertheless,